Itchy and Scratchy and Marge was first broadcasted on December 20th, 1990, written by John Swartzwelder and directed by Jim Reardon, in his directorial debut on the show after working on such shows as Mighty Mouse The New Adventures and Tiny Toon Adventures. But I personally remember his work from stuff like this beloved little classic right here.
Taste it, Charlie Brown! See you in hell.
But he's mostly known for his work at Disney nowadays, with his work seen on the Wreck-It Ralph movies, Zootopia, and WALL-E. In this episode in particular, Maggie attacks Homer with a mallet, and Marge immediately blames the Itchy and Scratchy show for turning her violent. Marge forms SNUH, Springfieldians for Nonviolence, Understanding, and Helping, and campaigns against the show. Eventually, she successfully gets the writers to change their ways and makes the show less violent. Meanwhile, Michelangelo's David goes on a coast-to-coast tour of the U.S., and the members of SNUB mobilize to protest it. Marge, however, states that she likes the statue, realizes that it's wrong to censor one form of art but not another, and decides to give up on her anti-cartoon violence protest. This is Alex Rocco's first of 3 appearances as Roger Myers Jr. in the episode as well. And this is where the early years of The Simpsons really shine when it comes to satirizing what's going on in the world, because this episode does have a fantastic job of talking about the inconsistencies of censorship, a topic that was still very topical to this very day. And a partial inspiration for this came from the scandal we've talked about several times on this channel with Married with Children. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, you have this woman, Terry Racolta, who was prompted to write the sponsors of Married with Children after her kids watched the episode Her Cups Run Over on January 15, 1989. In which Al Bundy and his friend Steve purchased a bra for Al's wife Peggy. In that very same episode, Al was oogling at a naked model in a department store, but with her back facing the camera. Several sponsors decided to cancel their commercials in response, and Fox responded to the boycotts by moving the show's time slot from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, toning down the level of raunch in the series, reducing the amount of sexual content and implied nudity, and Fox also did not air a potentially offensive episode called I'll See You in Court, which was known later as the Lost Episode, finally airing in 2002 on FX, before getting partnered with the DVD release of the 3rd season in 2005. That episode in particular has aired outside of America as a regular episode of Season 3, even since the show went to syndication. Racolta had made several appearances on talk shows such as Nightline. However, the boycott did little economic damage to Fox and to Married with Children. A year after the boycott, nearly all the defected advertisers had returned, and ratings were actually higher, and Racolta herself felt that her boycott had contributed to the show's higher viewership. Racolta later founded Americans for Responsible Television to fight against other shows that she deemed offensive, including shows by Phil Donahue and Howard Stern. So yeah, that's a story on its own level. But even today, censorship is still very much a touchy subject, even when it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I remember back when Sin City 2 came out, there was a poster that came out of Ava Green. You know, she was wearing she was wearing like this sexy robe, and it looks and like you don't really see like her boobs or anything, but it's like really it's white, and like you can't see the nipples, but it's just like people got really upset about that in particular. Some people thought it was deemed too hot for the MPAA when there was nothing really that bad about it. And again, you look at it, Ava Green is clothed. They don't show any nipples on her. They cover it up, and there's nothing really that bad about it. I mean, I have seen a lot worse from other posters released by the movie studios, But anyway, back to the topic at hand, this episode in particular. The element of why this will always be a subject that will never go away are there, and it's also showing that there really is no right answer to it. No matter how hard politicians of today try to force a right answer, Marge's realization of how you can protest one thing but say something is completely fine, and how hypocritical you become, is well done. It doesn't feel forced, it feels very legit and realistic, and again, it has one of the greatest moments in Simpsons history where the kids Springfield go outside, and it just shows what life is like without television. It just perfectly fits that entire satirical edge of what the writers were going for. This is the kind of joke, this is the kind of thing that I think these type of parents want their kids to be like. They think, like, no more television, just go outside with this great music by Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, and, you know, it's just... that long montage of the kids of Springfield playing makes a great satirical point of saying what the opposite of what the writers believed in. And James L. Brooks had wanted to end the episode with that montage, but the writers essentially disagreed on that front. Itchy and Scratchy Marge is the Simpsons satirical edge at its finest, tackling a big subject like censorship and sticking it to the people who think one thing is wrong but something else is fine. On top of that, you get those great cultural references from Psycho and Fantasia thrown in there, a lot of great funny jokes, great animation, a good story. It's the Simpsons at its finest. It's definitely one of the definitive episodes of the show, no question about it.